Hi everyone. Assalamu alaikum. How are you dears? All are fine? Okay. Today we are going to discuss our new chapter from Footprints Without Fate, The Making of a Scientist. What's the name of our chapter? The Making of a Scientist. All of you open. Making of a Scientist. Okay. Then here we have the story of motivational science story of our Richard Ebright. Richard Ebright, who find out what he find out. Yes, talking about cells. Okay, who taught us about cells? Okay, cells of butterflies. Okay, then through butterflies. Okay, all of you listen. This is a motivational story of scientific achievement of a student, Richard Bright, and he was brought up by his mother, and she gave him unending encouragement, and got him children's book called The Travels of Monarchy. Okay, then we are discussing some introduction for our story. Here, then is a motivational story of scientific achievement. Okay, it's a motivational story of scientific achievement. Okay, this book changed his life as it was about butterflies, and Ebright used to collect butterflies along with the dogs, fossils, and coins, and his indomitable will helped him to come out with a new theory of how cells work. Richard H. Ebright and his college roommate James R. Vaughan explained the theory of an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. Okay, and due to his research work, Ebright earned the Searle Scholar Award and the Scaring Award for Biochemistry. And the molecular biology, it was his fascination for butterflies that opened the world of science to him. Okay, then here in this chapter, in this motivational story, we have to discuss some more points: a scientific achievement, love for butterflies, support from mother, collection of Ebright and book that changed his life, then butterfly reproduction, then competition and science fairs, then 8th grade project and prize, and Viceroy and Monarch link, the gold sport experiment, recognition of his project, a senior high school achievement, and chemical structure of gold sport hormones, and consequences of the theory, and multi-talented person, then Mr. Wade's opinion. Okay, viewers' opinion. Okay, these are the things we want to discuss in this chapter. Okay, then all of you listen carefully. Okay dears, we want to start our chapter now. Then read and find out what it's mean. Here we have that motivation story. Then we want to find out these questions answers from this passage. Okay, how did it become a turning point in Richard Ebright's life? How did his mother help him? Okay, all of you listen carefully. At the age of 20, here in this story, section by section, he's talking about his achievements section by section. Okay, then all of you listen carefully. Then which are his attempts, then how he succeeds, and everything clearly given here in this story. Okay, then all of you listen. At the age of 22, a former scout of year excited the scientific world with a new theory on how cells work. Richard H. Ebright and his college roommate explained the theory in an article in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. Okay, then all of you listen carefully. All of you listen. At the age of 22, a former Scout of the Year excited the scientific world with a newly theory. What is the newly theory, my dears? Here, Scouts of the Year means here at the age of 22, a former Scouts of the Year excited with a newly scientific world theory. What is that theory? Theory with the abstract principles. Okay. Then what is that? Here theory. Richard H. Bright and his college roommate. That is the Scout of the Year. Okay. And may explained the theory in an article. What is the name of that article? The Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. It was the first time this important scientific journal had ever published the work of college students in sports that would be like making the big leaps at age of 15 and hitting a home run your first time at the bat. Okay, then for Richard Bright, it was the first in a long string of the achievements in science and other fields. Okay, and it all started with butterflies. Okay, then we talk about that. What is that? Richard at the age of 22 gave a new scientific theory how the cells work. Okay, and he published it in a science journal along with his college roommate James R. Wrong, and it was one of the rarest achievements for the college students. Okay, who are their personalities? Here, our Richard Bright and his roommate. Who is that roommate? James R. Wong. Okay, James R. Wong. Okay, all of you. Then how it start? All of you listen. At only child, Bright grew up north of Reading, then Pennsylvania. Okay, there wasn't much I could do there, he said. I certainly couldn't play football or basketball with a team of one. But there was one thing I could do, collect things. Okay, then I can't play well with my friends, but I could only one thing. What is that? There was one thing I could do, collect things. Okay, that is his hobby. Then Richard Bright, what he lived? He lived in Reading, Pennsylvania, and he loved and collected butterflies. Okay, let me listen. We can discuss. So he did, and did he ever beginning in kindergarten? Okay, then Bright collected butterflies with the same determination that has marked all his activities. He also collected rocks, fossils, and coins. And he became an eager astronomer too, and sometimes stargazing all night. Okay, then here his mother supported him very much. She took him trips, bought him telescopes and other things. She started, okay, here butterfly collected butterflies with the same determination that has marked all his activities. Not only the collection of butterflies, but also he started to collect, which are the things? Yes, rocks, fossils and coin and everything. And from the first he had driving curiously along with the bright mind. He also had a mother who encouraged his interest in learning. She took him on trips, bought him telescopes, microscopes, cameras and mounting materials and other equipment, and helped him in many other ways. Okay, then here his mother supported him very much, and she took him on trips and bought him telescopes, microscopes and cameras and mounting materials. All this helped him to earn top grade in school. Okay, then talking about his collection. All of you listen carefully. I was his only companion until he started school, his mother said. After that I would bring home friends for him, but at night we just did things together, and Richie was my whole life after his father died when Richie was in 3rd grade. Okay, Richie means Richard, right? Okay. She and her son spent almost every evening at the dining room table, and if he didn't have things to do, I found work for him, and not physical work but learning things too. Okay, a good supporting. By the time a break was second, okay, then all of you listen carefully. Okay. Then he liked it and wanted to learn. And learn he did, and he earned top grades in school. And every day thinks he was just like every other kid. And his mother said, by the time he was second grade, a breeder collected all 25 species of butterflies found around his hometown. Okay, then here species are subspecies of butterflies collected in 6 weeks in breeding Pennsylvania. Okay, the description also given here below. Then, when by the time Braid was in second grade, he had collected all the 25 species found around his hometown. Okay, all of you listen. That probably would have been the end of my butterfly collecting, he said. But then my mother got me a children's book called The Travels of Monarch Ten. That book which told how monarch butterflies migrate to Central America opened the world of science to the eager young collector. Okay, then what happened here? His mother got him a children's book called The Travels of Monarch Ten. This book was about the monarch butterflies migrate to Central America, and at the end of the book, then here what that is the end of that is the end means that is the end of that created that book emerged as end of the his monarch collection. Okay, at the end of the book, all of you listen that paragraph. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migrations. They were asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart of the University of Toronto, Canada. Ebrard's mother wrote to Dr. Urquhart, and soon Ebrard was attaching light adhesive tags to the wings of the monarchs. Anyone who found that tagged butterfly was asked to send the tag to Dr. Urquhart. What is that? What is that thing again? All of you listen here. But at the end of the book, readers are invited to help study butterfly migrations. What we want to do at that time? They are asked to tag butterflies for research by Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart of the University of Toronto, Canada. Soon, Ebrard was attaching light adhesive tags to the wings of the monarchs and sending them to Dr. Urquhart. Okay, then what we want to do? At the end of the book, all of you listen dears. At the end of the book, readers were invited to help study butterfly migration. Okay, they were asked to tag butterfly for research by Dr. Frederick Urquhart and of the University of Toronto, Canada. Ebrard's mother wrote Dr. Urquhart, and soon Ebrard was attaching light adhesive tags to the wings of monarchs. And anyone who found a tagged butterfly, anyone who saw a tagged butterfly, what we want to do was asked to send the tag to Dr. Urquhart. Understood all of you? Then here, Ebrard was attaching a light adhesive tags to the wings of monarchs and sending them to Dr. Urquhart. Okay, then this butterfly collection season around reading last 6 weeks in last summer. Okay, then if you are going to chase them by only one by one, you won't catch very many. So, the next step of the Ebrard was to raise a flock of butterflies. He would catch a female monarch, take her eggs and raise them in his basement through their life cycle. Okay, you are following me, right? Okay, from egg to caterpillar to pupa and adult butterfly. Then he would tag the butterflies' wings and let them go. For several years, his basement was home to thousands of monarchs in different stages of development. Okay, what he did next, he started to replay. Butterfly reproduction started. In order to tag more butterflies to save himself from catching them, and Richard began to catch a female monarch, and what he did? And taken her eggs and raised them in his basement through their life cycle. Okay. എന്തിനാണ് to tag more and more butterflies and save himself from catching them. Okay. Then when it became a butterfly, he would tag it and let it go. Okay, let it go. Then what will he do? He did this activity for several years, but later lost interest in it. Okay. Then what he did? Okay, he started to butterfly reproduction and also for getting more tags. Okay. Then competition and science fairs. Talking about competition and science fair. Eventually, I began to lose interest in tagging butterflies. It's tedious and there is not much feedback. Ebright said, in all the time I did it. He laughed. Only 2 butterflies I had tagged were recaptured, and they were not more than 75 miles from the where I lived. Okay. Then we have to find out some more questions and answers from following passage and read and find out. What lesson does Ebright learn when he does not win anything at the science fair? And what experiments and projects does then undertake? And what are the qualities that go into the making of a scientist? Okay, these are the things we want to discuss in following paragraph. Then all of you listen carefully. Competition and the science fairs. Okay. Then Ebright lost the competition in the science fair when he was in the 7th grade. Okay. Then he realized that to win prize he must do real experiment and not simply make neat displays. He got good suggestion from Dr. Ukha and about insects related projects and began to hard work in this research area. Okay, then what he did, all of you listen. Then in the 7th grade he got a hint of what real science is, and when he entered a county science fair and lost, it was really a sad feeling to sit there and not get anything while everybody else and won something. Okay, then what he then do? Then Ebright said his entire entry was slides of a frog tissues which he showed under a microscope. He realized the winners had tried to do real experiments and not simply make a neat display. Okay, then he understood that the winners, how they succeed, how they won, that is because of their real experiments won. Okay. Already the competitive spirit that drives Richard Ebright was appearing. I knew that for the next year's fair I would have to do real experiment. He said, the subject I knew most about was the insect work I had been doing the past several years. Okay, then Dr. Ukhat also helped him for the next experiment, okay, for a real experiment. And so he wrote to Dr. Ukhat for ideas and back came a stack of suggestions for experiments. Those kept Ebright busy all through high school and led praises projects in county and international science fairs. Okay, listen. So he wrote to Dr. Ukhat for ideas. Okay, then and back came to a stack of suggestions for experiment. He got wonderful suggestions. A stack of means a neat display of suggestions for experiments. Those kept Ebright busy all through high schools and led prizes projects in county and international science fair. Then that day onwards he was very busy because for winning science fairs. For his 8th grade project, Ebright tried to find the cause of a viral disease that kills nearly all monarch caterpillars every few years. Okay, Ebright thought the disease might be carried by a beetle. Okay, and he tried raising caterpillars in the presence of beetles. Okay, I didn't get any real results, he said, but I went ahead and showed that I had tried the experiment. This time I won. Okay, which is his first experiment? Read all of you. Read that paragraph. Okay, then he won in that. Okay, the next experiment, the next year, the science fair project was testing the theory that Viceroy butterflies copy monarchs. Viceroy butterfly copy monarch. Okay, copy monarch. Okay, then all of you what he did? The theory was that viceroys look like monarchs because what is the reason? monarchs don't taste good to birds. That are monarchs. Okay. Then viceroys on the other hand, viceroys look like monarch. Why? Why dears? Monarchs because doesn't don't taste good to birds. Viceroys on the other hand do taste for to birds. So the more they look like monarchs and they less likely they are to become a bird dinner. Why they are look like monarchs, viceroys? Because it is very taste to, it is don't taste to birds. What monarchs is, monarchs don't taste to birds, but viceroys on the other hand do taste to good birds. That's why they are copy monarchs. Why viceroy butterflies? എന്തുകൊണ്ടാ copy ആണ്? Because less taste. That's why. Okay. Ebrard's project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarchs. And he found that a starling would not eat ordinary bird food. Okay. Then what he did? It would eat all the monarchs it could get. Okay. Then what is his experiment? All of you listen. Okay. He found that a starling, a kind of bird would not eat ordinary bird food. It would eat all the monarchs it could get. Ebrard said later, research by other people showed that viceroys probably do copy the monarchs. And this project was placed first in zoology division and third overall the county science fair. Okay, the second experiment over. Okay, then going to next. In his second year in high school, Richard Ebrard began the research that led to his discovery of an unmarked insect hormone. Okay, indirectly it also led to his new theory on the life of cells. Okay, listen all of you. The question he tried to answer was simple. What is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on the monarch pupa? Okay, what is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? Okay, that is a simple question, right? Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental. All of them said that it is just ornamental. That means serving to adorn. That means what is that? For beauty, right? Okay. Ebrard said, but Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. To find the answer, Ebrard and another excellent science students first had to build a device that showed that the spores were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. Understood? That gold spots producing hormone for the full development of a butterfly. Hormone. Okay, producing hormone. Okay. This project won Ebrard first place in the county fair and entered into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There, he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory of Walter Reed Irving Institute of Research. Okay, then what he did next? Gimme. The project won Ebrard first place in the county fair and the entry into the International Science and Engineering Fair. There he won third place for zoology. He also got a chance to work during the summer at the entomology laboratory. Entomology means the studying of insects. Okay, studying of insects. Study of insects. Okay, then laboratory of the Walter Reed Irving Institute of Research. As a high school junior, Richard Ebrard continued his advanced experiments on the monarch pupa. That year, his project won first place at the International Science Fair and gave him another chance to work in the Irving laboratory during summer. In his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch wing in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into normal butterfly wing scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. Okay, that gold, then only they can grow. That project won first place for the zoology at the international fair, and he spent the summer after graduation doing further work at the RP laboratory and the laboratory of the Union Department of Agriculture. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, Everett went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and did more work on the hormone from the gold spots. Okay, using the laboratory's sophisticated instruments, he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. Okay, all of you listen. Listen. In his senior year, he went a step further. He grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells would divide and develop into normal butterfly wing scales only if they were fed that hormone from gold spots. The project won first place for zoology and the international fair. Okay, I think that's over. The following summer, after his freshman year at Harvard University, Everett went back to the laboratory of Department of Agriculture and did more work on the hormone from the gold spots. Okay, using the laboratory sophisticated, what is meaning of sophisticated? Able to understand the complicated things. Okay, and instruments, he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. A year and a half later, during his junior year, Everett got the idea for his new theory about cell life. It came while he was looking at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of a hormone. When he saw those photos, Everett didn't shout Eureka, or even I have got it, but he believed that along with his findings about insect hormone, the photos gave him the answer of one biology puzzle. How can cell can read the blueprint of its DNA? I think you studied in your biology classes throughout the process of DNA and all. Okay, DNA is the substance in the nucleus of the cell that controls heredity. Right? Okay, it determines the form and function of the cell. Okay. And the substance in this nucleus of the cell and controls heredity, and it determines the form and function of the cell. Thus, DNA is the blueprint of the life. Then, Everett, as his college roommate James R. Wong, worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules to show how it could happen. Okay, then together they later wrote the paper that explained the theory. Okay, then they started that DNA, how that DNA works and everything. When Everett identified the chemical structure of a gold spot hormone and looked at X-ray photos of it, and he found how cells would read the blueprint of DNA. Okay, we now discussed, and he along with his college roommate James R. Wong wrote a paper that explained the theory. Okay, surprising no one who knew him, Richard Everett graduated from Harvard with highest honor, second in his class of 1510, and Everett went on to become a graduate student researcher at the Harvard Medical School. There he began doing experiments to test his theory. If the theory proves correct, it will be a big step towards understanding the process of life, and it might also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other diseases. All of this is possible because of Everett's scientific curiosity. Okay, they're talking about his encouragement, inspiration, and how he became a scientist. What is that? What are the qualities go into making of a scientist? Okay, then Richard Everett has been interested in science since he was begun collecting butterflies, but not so deeply as he has in time for other interests. Everett also became a champion debater and public speaker. All of you underline these all things. Okay, then public speaker Advisor both clubs and here, sorry, debater and public speaker and good canoeist and all around outdoors person. He is also an expert photographer, particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. And in high school, Richard Albright was a straight A student. Because learning was easy, he turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and Model United Nations Club. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Weir. Then his local studies teacher, his social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs, Mr. Weir was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to new ideas, Albright said. What happened then here? Albright was not only an excellent scientist but is a multi-talented personality. We now discussed. Okay, then here he was a champion in debate, public speaking. Then he was a good canoeist also and he all-round outdoor person and he was also an expert photographer and particularly of nature and scientific exhibits. Okay, then talking about how his social studies teacher influenced him. Okay, then in high school, Richard Albright was a straight A student because learning was easy. He turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and Model United Nations Club. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Weir, and his social studies teacher and advisor to both clubs. Mr. Weir was the perfect person for me then. He opened my mind to a new ideas, Albright said. Richard would always give that extra effort, Mr. Weir said. And what pleased me was, what is the special qualities of Richard Albright? Was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research besides doing all the research with the butterflies and his other insects. What is that? Listen. What pleased me was this person who put in 3 or 4 hours at night doing debate research besides doing his research with the butterflies and his other interest. Richard was competitive, Mr. Weir continued, but not in a bad sense, he explained. Richard wasn't interested in winning for winning's sake or winning to get a prize. Rather, he was winning because he wanted to do the best job he could. Okay, not only for win, not only for the success. Here he is doing everything, but he wanted to do the best job he could. For the right reasons, he wanted to be the best. Who wanted to be the best? Talking about Richard Albright, and that is one of the ingredients in the making of a scientist. Start with a first-rate mind. First, underline all of you. Start with a first-rate mind. Add curiosity and mix in the will to the win for the right reasons. Albright has these qualities from the time the book The Travels of Monckton opened the world of science to him. Richard Albright has never lost his scientific curiosity. Okay, all of you. Then, what is Mr. Weir's opinion? Mr. Weir, the Albright social studies teacher who opened his mind to new ideas, praised him for his hard work and indomitable spirit. According to Mr. Weir, Albright wanted to do the best jobs he could, and this made him a good scientist. He had a first-rate mind, was curious and had will to win for the right reason. Okay, then read the chapter well. Inshallah, I will give you more important questions from this chapter. I will give you the important questions from this chapter. Read the chapter well and understood which are the stages he gone through and how he succeed. Okay, how he succeed also. Okay, read well the chapter. Read well chapter. Okay, read well the chapter. Then, thank you.